And welcome to Headliners, your first look at Sunday's newspapers. I'm Nick Dixon, and I'm joined tonight by feminist icon Cressida Wetton.
How dare you?
And every feminist nightmare, it's Lewis Schaefer.
I thought I was going to be the feminist icon for a second.
It could have been you.
I don't think she's a feminist icon.
No, they're both ironic. Well, actually,
Yeah.
hers was ironic. Yours was accurate.
Oh, yeah. I'm a nightmare to most people. Some people take it personally.
Have you colour coordinated with Lewis's tie tonight, Cressida? I'm worried about that.
No, not intentionally.
Oh, no, not quite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little accents of gold.
This is a beautiful tie. This comes from Italy. I pay between £1 and £2 for all of my ties.
Italy via which
Okay.
charity shop?
We don't
I don't remember. You think I remember what?
don't want to do too many visual jokes, though, because this does go out on the radio as well. So let's all remember that. But I do like your tie. For radio listeners, he's wearing a nice tie. Let's have a quick look at the front pages. So the Sunday Telegraph has Reeves plans spell mortgage misery. The Sunday Express has Falklands troops on red alert. The Mail on Sunday, misogynist schoolboys face terror unit probes. The Mirror, game-changer cancer test. And finally, the Daily Star, psychic beaten up by Yobbo haunted doll. And those are your front pages that I managed to read with Lewis taking photos of me the whole time.
So rich.
Unbelievable lack of professionalism. Let's hope it improves when we have a look at the Sunday Times, Cressida.
OK, the Sunday Times. So the main story is PM, year of war, has spread vile hatred in the UK. It's quite a blurry PDF, so I can't read the text, but it says he calls for calm as Israel prepares Iran strike. And October the 7th poll reveals public split over Gaza. So he's blaming hate spreading in the UK because of the war in the Middle East.
Yeah, and that's all fair enough. There's certainly been a lot of hate. I would like to see some distinction, though, between the hate of people just going out with signs saying kill all Jews versus the anger following the horrific Southport stabbings that got out of hand and in some cases were just people posting. Seems to me to start it's all just vile hatred. I'd like to see some distinction there. What do you think, Lee?
Because he doesn't see that he's basically. I'm not saying he's not. We're in a time of war. He's not the cause of the war that we're going on, but he's shoveling this stuff as this is going on. I mean, he was the one who put all those people from the riots in jail without whatever it is, the First Amendment or whatever they have, whatever laws they have in this country, they didn't use them
without the American legal system.
And it would be good if we had one in this country. And the other thing is this: they mentioned the October 7th poll reveals public split over Gaza. It doesn't seem like much of a split. It seems like most people are against Israel, and that's crazy for the country to do that. I think.
Well, we've definitely got a problem. We've brought in all sorts of people who hate the country. We've got wokeness, which also hates Israel.
Yeah.
Whatever you think about Israel, I think you can't really argue that there has been a lot of horrible scenes on the streets in the last year since October 7th. Fair enough?
Horrible scenes on the streets.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about, isn't it? When he talks about vile hatred in the UK.
I think he's speaking much deeper than that. I think it's not just on the streets. He's not just talking about the demonstrations, is he?
I don't know. As you say, as Cressida said, it's too small to read, so I'm sort of guessing what he means.
I can read the story about vet bills.
Yeah, what about these vet bills? Why are they so expensive?
I can tell you, Nick, it's because nobody's having babies anymore. And I used to work in doggy daycare, and let me tell you, there's some people out there who are prepared to pay. Yeah. People like paying for their pets
because they think their pets are their children now, and they spend huge amounts.
It's the humanisation of pets, and I say that as somebody who spent a lot of money on a very old fat dog.
Paying for their university fees is the hardest. With some of those dogs. OK, anything else on there? Honey trap politician was agent for Kremlin. Don't know what that means. But we can do the whole front page these days, we're told. So 50 best spas in the UK. Some good news, finally. What about the Mail on Sunday?
Well, also the good news is that this paper is only £4.50.
Oh, good.
I mean, why don't you mention everything that's on there? Did they ask us to discuss?
Well, you're the one that read out
paper?
The prices the other day. You set the precedent, so I'm just trying to copy.
Well,
but let's do the Mail on Sunday, Lewis.
Mail on Sunday. And it's actually written October 6, 2024. OK, I'm moving on.
He's unmanageable now, Pete.
I'm moving on. No, I'm not, because we've been told the show's got to be funnier, and that's a very hard thing.
That was just you. That was meant to go just to you.
And this is as funny as I can get. I don't know funny. My brand of comedy doesn't include funny.
It's more like people laughing at your meltdowns.
You know, what if they laugh? I don't care. As long as they're laughing.
He doesn't care.
No dignity.
Somebody insulted him on Twitter earlier, and I was upset for him. And he said, no, it means someone's paying me attention.
I know.
It's all attention.
All right, what about the Mail, though, Lewis, on
This
Sunday?
is the Mail. Misogynist schoolboys face terror unit probes. We were through this. I think we had one of these subjects. Is that they consider everything terrorism. And misogyny, they consider terrorism. They consider anything that hurts somebody's feelings or terrorism because of the womanizing of the world. It's all the left-wing.
You mean feminisation?
Yes.
Womanising of the world.
Is that the difference?
That's what you do in your 20s,
Look,
Lewis.
Yvette Cooper clearly has never met a 14-year-old boy. If you give them this much power, it says here... So if boys are misogynistic at school, the teachers are now potentially going to have to report them to Prevent, the anti-terrorism organisation. And it says even comments about a woman's place being in the kitchen could be enough to spark a referral. Every 14-year-old boy up and down the country is like, right, we'll have some of this.
Me and Lewis in jail with some 14-year-old boys.
I know, because we basically agree. I basically agree with that. You know what? Let them have their fun. This is what I say. Let them have their fun right now with this thing. Wait till the whole world changes and women will be home and they won't even be at school. They should be happy that we allow them to go to school.
Yeah, I sort of got what you meant there in a roundabout way. He's talking about this sort of if we were ruled by the Taliban or something.
Is he saying that eventually we'll want some toxic masculinity?
Yes. Yeah, I am saying that. You're not going to want toxic masculinity, but you'll settle for toxic masculinity.
You'll settle for what they call toxic masculinity, which just means jokes.
Because you'll be happy to be at school. You'll say, we don't care. I don't care if they say go back. I don't care. I just want to be at school.
Yeah, basically, it is upset. The article inevitably mentioned Andrew Tate, and there needs to be a line drawn between actual sort of culturally sort of baked-in misogyny of certain cultures versus kids making jokes because they're sick of a sort of pathetic narrative that men are evil.
No.
Very different thing.
And you've got to have competent male role models. You've got to have a competent, successful view of masculinity that you can run towards rather than just being a naughty boy and thinking, I wonder if I can get a referral to Prevent.
Okay. But I think you're wrong about that.
I'm right.
I forgot what you were saying. The idea, first of all, what is misogyny? They asked Keir Starmer what misogyny is, and he had no idea what it was. So how can you ask a teacher to define misogyny?
Well, he has no idea even who he is. Let's do the Observer question.
Let's do the Observer. Doubts grow over Labour's VAT plan for private schools. So warning sounded over deadline chaos. So I think this is just, potentially this is going to be put back. Treasury refuses to confirm January start. This is the added VAT to private schools. So everyone's saying there won't be enough time. There's also this concern that if you rush it through, then the state schools are going to have lots of pupils suddenly thrust upon them. And it's particularly important for the SEND sector, that's the special educational needs and disabilities kids. Because a lot of them are in private schools, and if it costs more, they might not be able to go, and so on and so on. Although I think they're exempt. Is that right, if you've got SEND needs?
I don't know. It's an awful policy. Go on.
That girl who calls herself my girlfriend, she is...
That's misogyny.
Is that misogyny?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Carry on.
That's
what makes her misogynistic?
Sorry, I interrupted your point.
Never do that with Liz.
My point is this is the elitist Labour left who just want to hurt people and think that they know better than everybody else. Why should people get a better education than I'm getting?
And for balance, I actually agree with Lewis. The Premier League is also, by the way, given 100,000 in tickets to Labour, so the freebies scandal is going to go on and on and on, which is funny.
Of course it's going to go on because it's the same story. It's that they're so elitist, they think we can take money.
Yes.
If we decide to take money, it's okay. But if they take money, that's bad.
What about the Star, quickly, Lewis?
The Star, this is good news. Psychic beaten up by Yabo haunted doll. And
That is good news.
It is good news. it means that, it is when we run out of people because we're not having any children. When we run out of people, we'll have dolls that can do stuff. And this Hannah Rose. She's got thousands of followers on Instagram. And she was saying that her doll did something. We don't know the full story because it's just...
And can I just say, I was only joking, and poor Hannah, I feel very bad that she was beaten up by a Yobbo haunted doll.
Yeah.
Anything on this, Cressida?
Very open-minded. No, I have no thoughts. There's somebody on the front cover here saying that Strictly made him fat. Seems unlikely, doesn't it?
It does. Normally it just makes people cheat. All right, well, those are the front pages, but welcome back to Headliners. Let's have a look at the Telegraph. And the Welsh Government wants to make Wales anti-racist by 2030, and they're doing this by removing statues of white men. I spot a flaw there, Lewis.
It is, because Wales is weird. Taxpayer... am I allowed to... No, because I'm going to get criticism.
The Welsh Government.
That they're treating racism with more racism is...
That would work like in Britain. But the fact is that taxpayers' money used to fund I'll explain why it shouldn't be there because Wales is basically an expatriate country. These Welsh people are British people who were kicked out of Britain for the Angles and the Saxons and the Jutes, and they had to go to Wales. That's not their native country. This is where the Welsh people belong, right here in England, in Britain. It wasn't England. England's a reason. You don't know what I'm talking about. Why are you looking at me that way?
We're just waiting for
allowing you to finish this brilliant point.
I'm saying so that the Labour government, which is saying we want to spend money to have art in all new projects that show the decolonization of Wales.
So ridiculous, isn't it?
When the fact is that Wales is like a camp.
They're the oppressed.
They are the oppressed. Someone should speak out for Wales to make them. It's embarrassing.
Well, they've got
really.
Lewis Schaefer. It's completely absurd. I mean, anti-racism, Orwellian doublespeak. It means racism. It means anti-whiteism. Apart from your point, Lewis, this is what bothers me. Every time you say anti-racist, you just mean anti-white. They're getting rid of statues of white men.
Because they're treating... Can I just make this point one more time?
You interrupt a woman again.
I'm sorry.
You're going straight to prevent after the show.
I'm sorry, Cressida. But basically, the Welsh people have a right to complain about the Angles, the Saxons, the Jutes, the Vikings, whoever invaded Britain, which forced them onto the worst bit of land.
But in woke ideology, they're just white people who are inherently evil. Cressida.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's art. They keep calling it public art. It's public propaganda, isn't it? This isn't, art is people driven by passion and lust and God knows what, or God sent them to paint something. I don't know. Why did Van Gogh chop his ear off? All that stuff. And the idea that you would have an artistic vision based on government funding is so ludicrous that it winds me up.
Yes, we want to create art, it says here, that promotes messages of diversity, inclusion and anti-racism. This is the voice they're saying it in. With £20,000 released for some projects. I mean, it's so...
Yeah, totally.
I'm so sick of it.
And they talk about balance, and it's not balanced anyway, but I want my artists to be deranged in their own personal way, not in a...
I'm so sick of the idea that wokeness is silly, or yes, it's anti-liberal. Yes, it is. But when you're talking about anti-racism, in the next breath, you're using the phrase old white men. It's like, it's just an attack on
and also, it's not helping anyone, is it? It's incredibly condescending to the minorities, that whoever they're talking about on that particular day, because it's sort of... It's putting the white men, whoever they are, above them, isn't it? It's saying, well, they're more powerful than you, and so we need to get rid of them so that you can cope. And I just find that so...
You're missing the point. The point is the Welsh are not the same as the English, who are mixed.
That's your point. That's a point.
That is the point.
We all understood that point. There's additional points.
That's the main point. The main point is they should fight for their own Welshness, their Welsh language, and the belief in Wales.
That sounds very team world, Lewis. You're team world.
No, I'm not. I believe in.
You want to decolonise Britain.
No, I believe in the nation state. I believe in an independent Wales.
You're about decentralisation. Let's do the mail.